This is Land of Havilah, Jeremiah 41. We should remember that Johanan and the other veterans of the war are now at peace with the governor and the Babylonians. The governor gave them cities and assured them that if they'll only serve the Babylonians, they have nothing to worry about. He'll deal with the Babylonians for them. So that was a sweet deal for the veterans from the governor, and they took it. However, the veterans have warned the governor that another of the veterans, Ishmael, plans to kill him. Ishmael is a Jew and a member of the Judean royal family, which was just the family that was just defeated, so it's not surprising that Ishmael resents the newly installed government. Coming up, it's the 7th month of the Hebrew year, which means it's September or October, and it's harvest time. Jerusalem fell 2 months ago. Verse 1. Now in the 7th month, Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, the son of Elishama, of the royal offspring, and one of the chief officers of the king, and 10 men with him came to Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, to Mizpah, and there they ate bread together in Mizpah. Then Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, arose, and the 10 men who were with him, and struck Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, with the sword, and killed him, whom the king of Babylon had made governor over the land. Comment in verses 1 and 2, Ishmael came to Mizpah pretending he supported the governor, but after breaking bread with him, he and his 10 men killed him. Verse 3, Ishmael also killed all the Jews who were with him, with Gedaliah, at Mizpah, and the Chaldeans who were found there, the men of war. Comment in verse 3, after killing the governor, Ishmael and his men killed all the Jews who were with Gedaliah in Mizpah, meaning all the Jews in his administration, and he killed all the Babylonian soldiers and administrators that were there. It was a wipeout of the Babylonian-appointed government. Verse 4. The 2nd day after he had killed Gedaliah, and no man knew it, men came from Shechem, from Shiloh, and from Samaria, even 80 men, having their beards shaved and their clothes torn, and having cut themselves, with meal offerings and frankincense in their hand, to bring them to Yahweh's house. Comment in verses 4 and 5, 2 days after Ishmael slaughtered the government at Mizpah, 80 men came from the former northern kingdom with their beards shaved and clothes torn. They've also cut themselves. They're in mourning because of the fall of Jerusalem. They don't know anything about Ishmael's coup. They plan to pass through Mizpah on their way to the ruins of the temple to mourn and give homage to Yahweh. When they were approaching Mizpah, verse 6, Ishmael the son of Nethaniah went out from Mizpah to meet them, weeping all along as he went. And as he met them, he said to them, Come to Gedaliah the son of Ahikam. It was so when they came into the middle of the city that Ishmael the son of Nethaniah killed them and cast them into the middle of the pit, he and the men who were with him. But 10 men were found among those who said to Ishmael, Don't kill us, for we have stores hidden in the field of wheat and of barley and of oil and of honey. So he stopped and didn't kill them among their brothers. Now the pit in which Ishmael cast all the dead bodies of the men whom he had killed by the side of Gedaliah, the same was that which Asa the king had made for fear of Baasha king of Israel. Ishmael the son of Nethaniah filled it with those who were killed. Comment in verse 6, Ishmael went out to meet the 80 while they were approaching Mizpah. He pretended to be at one with them by mourning with them. In verse 7, he accompanied them to Mizpah, but it was a trap. He and his men killed 70 of them and cast their bodies into a pit alongside the bodies from 2 days earlier. In verse 9, the pit was dug about 300 years previously as a defensive moat, 1 Kings 15:22. In verse 8, Ishmael spared 10 of the men because they said they had hidden some stores of wheat, barley, honey, and oil. Ishmael probably figures he'll need these men to find that food. But next on his agenda, verse 10, Then Ishmael carried away captive all of the people who were left in Mizpah, even the king's daughters and all the people who remained in Mizpah, whom Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, had committed to Gedaliah the son of Ahikam. Ishmael the son of Nethaniah carried them away captive and departed to go over to the children of Ammon. Comment in verse 10, Ishmael forcibly took everyone who was left in Mizpah. Some of them were the king's daughters, which means Ishmael was related to them. And now we can put 2 and 2 together and figure out Ishmael's motive. Obviously the king's daughters are still in the land because the Babylonians left them there. They were Babylonian spoils of war, and they were taken to Mizpah for the benefit of the men of the new administration. Remember, Jeremiah prophesied to the king that if the king stayed in the city, quote, all the women who are left in the royal palace of Judah will be led out to the officers of the king of Babylon. Chapter 38, verse 22. Furthermore, Jeremiah said the royal women would realize that all the king's friends and allies had abandoned him, and that the king was sunk in the mire, so to speak. They would realize there was no future for them in the kingdom, but there was a future for them with the Babylonians. But Ishmael's point of view is that his female relatives need to be rescued. So he carried his female relatives away along with the children, eunuchs, and the rest of Mizpah that he didn't kill. Now concerning Johanan and the other Jewish captains who saw this coming and warned the governor about it, verse 11. But when Johanan the son of Kareah and all the captains of the forces who were with him heard of all the evil that Ishmael the son of Nethaniah had done, then they took all the men and went to fight with Ishmael the son of Nethaniah and found him by the great waters that are in Gibeon. Comment in verses 11 and 12, Johanan and his allies heard what happened in Mizpah and caught up with Ishmael's group at Gibeon. The group included Ishmael, his 10 men, and the captives, which were the royal women, children, eunuchs, and others. Verse 13. Now when all the people who were with Ishmael saw Johanan the son of Kareah and all the captains of the forces who were with him, then they were glad. So all the people who Ishmael had carried away captive from Mizpah turned about and came back and went to Johanan the son of Kareah. But Ishmael the son of Nethaniah escaped from Johanan with 8 men and went to the children of Ammon. Comment in verses 11 and 12, the captives were glad to see Johanan and his men and ran over to them. They didn't want any part of Ishmael, even if he was family. They thought this was a poor idea on Ishmael's part, and thank you, but no thank you. They didn't want Ishmael's help. In verse 13, Ishmael and 8 of his men escaped to Ammon, and now Johanan and his men have responsibility for the captives. He can't take them back to Mizpah because everyone is dead. So what did Johanan do with them? Verse 16. Then Johanan the son of Kareah and all the captains of the forces who were with him took all the remnant of the people whom he had recovered from Ishmael the son of Nethaniah from Mizpah, after he had killed Gedaliah the son of Ahikam, the men of war, with the women, the children, and the eunuchs, whom he had brought back from Gibeon. They departed and lived in Geruth Chimham, which is by Bethlehem, to go to enter into Egypt because of the Chaldeans, for they were afraid of them, because Ishmael the son of Nethaniah had killed Gedaliah the son of Ahikam, whom the king of Babylon made governor over the land. Comment in verses 16 to 18, Johanan and his allies took the women and others a few miles to Geruth Chimham, which was near Bethlehem. Johanan and the other veterans had nothing to do with the killings at Mizpah, but they figured the Babylonians would return to Judah and retaliate indiscriminately. So in fear of their lives, they thought they would probably go to Egypt, but they're still exploring their options. We should keep remembering that Yahweh said he'll make the land desolate and without inhabitant, Jeremiah 2:15 and 4:7. Jeremiah 42 is next.